In September 2016, Davao City's Roxas Night Market buzzed with life. Families shared street food, friends laughed over grilled skewers, and vendors celebrated their harvest. It was the kind of night that felt safe, festive, and full of warmth.
Authorities are confident that they can capture the prime suspect in last Friday's night market bombing in Davao City.
Then, just after 10 p.m., everything changed. A bomb exploded near the food stalls, transforming peaceful celebration into chaos. The blast erupted with a roiling force that echoed through the narrow alleys. Screams followed as bodies fell, stalls erupted in flames, and people scattered in panic. 15 people lost their lives that night, including a young pregnant woman, and nearly 70 others were severely injured. The shockwaves were felt across the nation. Within hours, authorities identified the crime, an improvised explosive device planted in a crowded market meant to kill indiscriminately. Davao City officials called it the darkest attack in decades. The victims, vendors, customers, families, were innocent civilians celebrating life, not targets of hate or war. The attack had come by surprise, hitting at the center of everyday joy. Investigators worked non-stop. They followed leads linking the bombing to extremist groups known in the southern Philippines. Names surfaced: Abu Sayyaf and the Maute group, suspected of using the Manila attack as part of a broader campaign of terror. Security footage, explosive residue analysis, and witness interviews formed the backbone of early intelligence. By October, 10 suspects were named, 3 were arrested, and authorities described it not as random violence, but a carefully orchestrated attack. 4 years passed, and in September 2020, the wheels of justice began to turn. Authorities confirmed that 3 suspects were arrested, all with alleged ties to the Maute group, an extremist organization operating in Mindanao. These suspects were charged with multiple counts of murder and attempted murder. Eventually, 7 individuals were convicted, including those apprehended earlier. While the court dismissed terrorism charges due to technicalities, the convicted were sentenced to reclusion perpetua, life in prison without parole. For many, this marked a step toward justice, though the pain and loss remained. Survivors carried wounds unseen by the public. Many struggled with physical pain, mental trauma, and rebuilding shattered lives. One survivor, severely injured, found hope in a small livelihoods fund provided by the city. The Davao government allocated close to 9 million pesos to support victims. Medical treatment, counseling, new homes, and scholarships. These efforts became a symbol. Davao wouldn't let its people suffer in silence. Community love poured in. Candlelight vigils illuminated plazas. Prayers led by Archbishop Romulo Valles called for unity. City officials, including Mayor Sara Duterte Carpio, pledged new safety campaigns. Security protocols were rewritten. Armed patrols now guard night markets. Surveillance cameras lace alleys. City leaders called it the culture of security, not to live in fear, but to stand firm against terror. Yet Davao's fight was far from over. In 2018, a bombing in Isulan renewed fears, reminding citizens that violence could strike again. The response was swift: more police, tighter intelligence sharing, and more community awareness. City officials and national agencies worked together to build a network of vigilance that would ideally catch threats before they exploded. Through all of this, one undeniable truth emerged: Davao's spirit endured. Friends, families, strangers, they rose together, not apart. In bazaars, schools, public offices, many still carry photos and memories of that night, honoring those who died with quiet determination. 2 years after the bombing, survivors and victims' families spoke of newfound strength. They led efforts to pass stricter laws defining bombing as terrorist acts. They lobbied for community security councils, and they reminded us all that local governments and the people who live there can stand firm with compassion and openness, even when facing violence. The Roxas Night Market bombing remains one of the Philippines' darkest tragedies, but it also sparked one of its strongest responses. Davao's message was loud and clear. Terror might break bones and take lives, but it would not break the community. If you believed in that resilience, hit like, subscribe, and don't miss our next story, because heroes don't always wear capes.